Have you been sitting around dying for a new Block Tales update? Well, these new Block Tales Demo 5 leaks are some of the biggest ones the game has ever had. These leaks are so major that they don't just show new weapons or new locations. They reveal that the entire story of Block Tales is being rebuilt from the ground up. One of the most exciting parts about all these leaks is the progress update. The developers confirmed that Demo 5 is already more than 80% complete. With that much progress, there's a real chance we could see Demo 5 release sometime in 2025 instead of later. This is the closest the game has been to a major update in a while, and it makes every new leak feel even more important. The most shocking leak is that the whole story is getting rewritten. This is happening because the old story writer, Campyfire, was removed from the team after serious issues involving his relationship with a minor. If you want the full explanation of that situation, I have a video that goes over everything. Since he worked on a huge amount of the original lore, this rewrite could change many plot lines that players have followed for years. One of the first leaked images shows a large castle with stone walls and a massive door. On one side of the entrance, there are merchant stalls and blue and white flags hanging across the market. Another leak shows a dark figure sitting on a throne, and many fans believe this might be the king of the castle. We also see a golden train and a big city center with a golden statue of a person holding a sword. The design of the area matches the sun and moon paintings that have golden frames, which suggests that these locations are connected in the new story. We also get a look inside the home of Griefer and Mayor Thaniyel. This will finally let players see their troubled relationship up close. Their story has always been mysterious, so this is the first time we'll understand what their lives actually look like behind the scenes. At the same time, Kyoko's role is being completely changed. Leaked outlines show that she won't appear in chapters 3 or 4 anymore. She will now only appear in chapter 2 in the city of Turritopolis. This is a huge change to her story arc. Many players, including myself, believed that Calypso was her long-lost sister, and now nobody knows what will happen to that theory or if it will still be part of the new story. If you think you know what these changes mean, make sure to comment below and share your ideas. New cards were also confirmed. The Slinger looks like a mix of the slingshot and the ball. The Rocket Man looks like a mix of the launcher with the sword. There's also a card called Mega Rush, but we don't know much about it yet. Then the card Firecrackers obviously uses the slingshot, but we're not sure how. Then there's a card named Bombardment, which looks like it might create fire or explosion-based attacks. These new weapons are so strong that older cards might need balancing to keep the game fair. Two-dimensional enemies are also going to be returning in Demo 5. On top of that, we're getting a new ally named Cloudy. Cloudy is supposed to heal the player, but other leaks suggest Cloudy might work in a very unusual way, meaning he might actually blow up when he dies. A few other strange images were also found in the leak. One shows a man fishing, another shows a tadpole fishing. These could be hints to new side activities or puzzles, but right now nobody knows for sure. Even though Demo 5 is getting all the attention right now, I still think Demo 4 was one of the best updates the game ever had. It added a lot of cool features that made combat feel smoother and the world feel more alive. Here are the biggest things that I enjoyed. Demo 4 brought in several fun combat tools. Aggressor became one of my favorite mechanics. It lets you deal +1 damage, but you also take 2 times the damage from enemy attacks. It makes every fight feel more risky and exciting. Infect also became a strong option. It's a sword move that applies level 1 poison for 3 turns and costs 2 SP. Free Fire also became another helpful ability. For only 1 SP, it gives a target level 1 burn. Having poison and burn available so easily made battles feel much more strategic. One of the nicest changes was the addition of penguin NPCs throughout the Black Rock Mountains. Before this update, that area felt empty, but Demo 4 made it feel like a real place with a real character. Then there was the bug having to do with extra damage while you were in a party. So now, enemies stop dealing extra damage when the player travels in a party. So now this makes exploring with your friends a lot more fair and enjoyable. Demo 4 added many useful buffs that made several weapons, summons, and strategies much stronger. Dynamite damage increased from 4 to 5, line bounce damage was boosted too. It now deals higher damage on the first hit, then drops to a minimum of 2 for the next enemy it hits. The ball's second hit can now deal up to 2 damage. Summoners became much stronger because their HP now scales with your level. Call Gorilla became more flexible since you can resummon it. Free Fire, Free Ice, and Free Poison all became easier to use because they no longer block the ball slot. A lot of smaller buffs help too. Happy HP and SP now activate for 2 turns instead of 3. Charge defense now cuts damage in half. The Thorn's guard window change only affects melee hits that can trigger the Thorn's effect. The orange item is now affected by Item Plus and can save players from mortal damage. SP costs for stacking cards were lowered. The attack stat is now capped at -1 instead of -3. Call Red and Blue now costs 5 SP instead of 6. And all of these changes made combat feel more smooth and much more fun. Even though Demo 4 added a lot of good things, it also came with several nerfs that disappointed me and a lot of players. Launcher no longer skips enemy positions. Anchor can only activate once per battle. Slingshot now gives +1 attack instead of +2. Baller and Knight were moved to Demo 4 shops. Sword Toss was placed deeper in the Manor's catacombs. Lucky Start had its dodgy effect reduced from 2 to 1. First aid kits can only revive the player 1 time per battle, no matter how many you have. Status effects don't apply when your damage is 0. The base rolling meter speed increased to 2 HP per second. Resurrect pickups were removed from the overworld. Cure pickups were also removed. Enemy item pools no longer include charge defense. The shop rotation for the Buck shop and the In the Card shop was changed, which affects how often items appear. Even though some of these nerfs were tough, Demo 4 still had many of my favorite additions in the entire game. It set a high bar, and seeing all the improvements back then makes Demo 5 even more exciting. All of these leaks point toward the biggest update Block Tales has ever had. If you think you know what these leaks mean, or how they connect to the new story, make sure to comment below and tell everyone your theory. The future of Block Tales is changing fast, and these leaks might be the first look at an entirely new story.